it's Maggie from Sandbridge Nursery here, and I have some exciting news. For the first time in over 20 years, we are now offering our Scarecrow, Build-A-Scarecrow workshop at home as a kit that you can purchase either here in the store or online. And we are super excited to show you how to make a scarecrow today. So let's talk about what comes in the kit. You can either have a 6-foot or a 4-foot frame. 6-foot frames fit adult size clothing. The 4-foot fit kid size like 10 to 12. And in your kit, you will also get a bale of hay. Then you have your instructions, 6 pieces of rope, 2 long, 4 short, and you have your face pieces and the glue to attach. Now, you will need to provide a sturdy pair of scissors, a long sleeve shirt, button up is the easiest to work with, and a pair of long pants for the legs. Now make sure that you choose a pair of pants that you are not going to wear again, because you are going to have to cut a hole in the crotch seam in order for the stake on the frame to go through. Now, when you get your hay, it is going to come in a bale, and you will need to snip the twine holding it together, and you're also going to have to fluff up the hay. When the hay comes off a bale, it comes in pieces called flakes. And you'll have to fluff up the flakes as they become pretty compressed. And my suggestion to you is while you do this, it can get pretty messy, so make sure you're in an area that's easy to clean, whether it's a garage or driveway, outside, you're in your yard. You can also put down a drop cloth to help, but it will get a little bit messy. It also gets dusty, so what I'm going to do is keep my eye protection on, and also I'm going to mask up. Masks are not only good for the pandemic, but they're good to keep the dust out. So here we go. Let's fluff some hay, everybody. So we're just gonna pull it apart, loosen it up. You get quite a bit of hay, even out of one flake. So it really ends up being quite a lot of hay, and you do need a lot of hay to stuff. Now I'm just going to fluff a little bit at a time in case I don't use the whole bale. Okay, now that our hay is fluffed, what we're going to do is we're going to take our frame and lay it down. Now, we are going to cut a hole right in the crotch seam, and we're going to put our stake through that. You know, make sure when you cut the hole that it's wide enough to fit this stake. If it's too small, you'll have a hard time getting the jeans on, and if it's too big, you'll have hay everywhere. And when you're working with the hay, make sure that you're mindful of possible sharp objects. Sometimes things get tilled up in the fields, and there can be like some sharp stuff in there, like thorns and other things like that. So you just want to keep an eye out as you're fluffing the hay and stuffing your scarecrow. And you may have to widen your hole a little bit as you put the stake in. There we go. So you put your clothes on first. It's a little hard to see. And I'll lay it like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attach the pants before we do anything else. So we're going to find one of our long pieces of rope. We're going to put it around the neck. So see, just going to put it right around. Make sure that the head is tied nice and tight. Make sure they're nice and even. I like to do an extra little knot here at the top just to prevent any slippage, especially if your pants end up being heavy. And then what we're going to do is this string over here acts like suspenders to keep your pants up. It'll keep the pants in place, keep them from falling down after they're all stuffed. So we're going to insert the end of that rope right onto the belt loop. If you don't have belt loops on your pants, go ahead and make some cuts over here in order to put the string through. And you're just going to tie a little knot on both sides. And you know, you want to make sure you tie your string to where you want your pants to sit on the body. So if you have like a really long shirt, it could go a little lower. If it's a smaller shirt, it could go up a little higher. You might just have to adjust it a little. And you just try to keep both sides even. But it's okay if it's a little wonky because it's only a scarecrow. And you know what? These are a little long, so I'm just going to shorten it up a little bit. Be easy with yourself. It's okay to make some adjustments. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. And I'm just going to double knot these so they're nice and tight. And if you want, you can cut the excess off with your scissor, but you don't really need to because this part will be covered. So you just want to pull to make sure that you're tying pretty evenly, but it doesn't have to be exact. And away we go. So now we have some pants attached. And time to add our shirt. You always want to put the clothes on the frame before you stuff. Just going to lay our shirt down over here. And you kind of guide the framework into the shoulders of the shirt. So there's a little bit of stability there. And we just lay everything down. And after you put your shirt on, you may find that you need to bring up the pants a little bit depending on how long your shirt is. So you just make that adjustment now before anything is stuffed. And we're just going to move our materials over here so you don't get lost in the hay. That's one of the hardest parts. And we're going to start stuffing. So here we go. So it's always legs first. That's the easiest thing to stuff. So you just take big pieces of hay, and stuff it in. And I'm going to flip the scarecrow so we have a little bit easier access to the hay. Our workspace is a little small today, so we're just kind of making do for our video. And you may have to fluff a little bit as you stuff. That's okay. Now, you'll get to a point where the hay doesn't really stuff down the legs anymore. So that's when you go in from the bottom. Okay, so our legs are pretty full. And what I like to do is leave a little bit of hay sticking out the bottom so you know that it's a scarecrow, in case you couldn't tell. This looks a little more fall-like. And now that our legs have been stuffed, we are going to take our short pieces of twine and tie off each leg so your hay doesn't fall out. So you're just going to go take your leg and your twine about a couple inches from the bottom, leave a little bit of a gap, and you tie real tight, and a double knot should be sufficient. And depending on how much you have left over on your twine, you may want to cut the extra off just so it looks a little bit more finished. All right, nice and tight. Cut the extra off. Okay, so now your legs are finished. Let's go ahead and work on the body. So what we're gonna do for this is you always do the arms first. Arms are gonna go first. So we are going to keep stuffing. And you have to go as far as possible before you start from the bottom of the sleeve. And just keep stuffing and fluffing. Okay, so after your arms are nice and full, you can button up your shirt a little bit. So then we'll start to stuff the body. And again, you want to make sure it's nice and full. Okay, we're all buttoned up. And now just to finish off the body. So you just stuff away until everything is nice and full. You might want to button up your pants a little bit so your scarecrow looks presentable. And just going to take a look at the back, see if we need to add any to the back a little bit. Get a little bit more hay. And we're stuffing and fluffing. So let's take a look and see how we did. So, we are mostly stuffed. We just need to look to see where do we need to make our adjustments. And I think that we need to pull up our pants a little bit higher. So, what we're going to do is we're going to tighten up these strings that we tied just so everything's a little bit more complete and a little more finished. So I'm just going to untie these knots I made earlier and shorten it up a little bit. And as I choke up on the strings a little bit, I'm going to push the pants up so everything sort of goes together. tie those knots nice and tight. And I just tie it tight, pull the pant thread up, and re-secure my knot. All right, we're stuffed and ready to go. So this next part we can finish a couple different ways. We can go ahead and take our long piece of string and either tie it right around the waist, which is what I'm going to do, or you could make a second round of suspenders, whatever you prefer. If your pants are heavier, you may want to. So we're just gonna pull our shirt down, tie this all the way around the waist. Make sure your whole shirt is tucked into the rope, so that way you're tying it all. And we're just gonna make a nice little belt. Excuse me, it's 100 degrees in here. And when we just finish up our arms, and we just tie little knots. You leave a little extra room at the end of the sleeve, so gives you some room. And we snip the extra off. Double knot will do. And there we go. Our scarecrow body and shape are all done. Hey, look at that. We have a Mr. Bridge. So now is the time for the fun part. We are ready to glue on the face. And this is also when you would add your accessories, if you have any, whether that's hats, scarves, jewelry, anything fun. We've seen people do Halloween costumes. That's really great. You throw a tutu on. I mean, if you want to do a scarecrow with a dress, I would highly suggest doing pants and shirt first, and then putting the dress over the pants and shirt. That'll help keep all the hay in. So let's go ahead and make a face. In each face pack, you have cheeks, eyes, pupils for the eyes, eyebrows, and a mouth. And if you don't want to use eyebrows, those can be a mustache if you'd like. So you just want to kind of lay out your face and how you're going to glue it, and then that way you can move it around if you want to change it. Cheeks. And you know what? This is an old pack, so we only have one eyebrow. So maybe we'll make a unibrow or a mustache. You know, the real Mr. Bridge has a mustache, so let's go mustache. Okay, ooh, hot in here. So here we go, we're just gonna glue a little bit. And this is Elmer's Glue All. Each kit comes with one of these. Goes on super easy, great. This is great for the kids to do. This is definitely a fantastic group project for either friends and family. If you have little ones, they will need your help, but you know, the face part is always the best part. And you know, we make all the heads by hand. We cut out all the face pieces ourselves. We hand sew the noses on, and we use a machine to do the heads, but we sew everything in-house. We do it all here. Everything is handmade. We construct the frames, and we're so excited to say that even though we have a pandemic, we are gonna do scarecrows for a 21st year. And that, my friends, is part of why we do this. It's exciting things for the community. So, when you're all done with your scarecrow, make sure that you take a photo of your scarecrow in the yard, and if you'd like, share on social media, on Facebook and Instagram using the hashtag #SamBridgeScarecrows. And at the end of October, we are going to have a little contest and choose a winner. There's going to be some really, really fantastic prizes, and it's a fun way to share with the community all the great designs and the creativity that's coming out of the Scarecrow Workshop, even though it's going to be at home this year. So we're so excited to continue sharing with you on our 21st year of Scarecrows and our 90th year in business. And say hello to Mr. Bridge, everybody. Kits are going to be available online and in store. And make sure you hurry in because we're only going to have 300 available. I hope you have fun making your scarecrow, and we had a great day putting it together. Thanks so much. Have a happy fall, everybody.